Atomic Agency has 20 employees, fancy offices, and $1 million marketing budget. This business, it's just Nick, and he's got a kitchen table and a laptop. You'd think the big company would crush Nick's little business into a fine powder, right? But here's what's crazy. Nick's one-person business is making more profit than Atomic is, even with all those resources. Nick has mastered something that big companies desperately try to fake, an authentic personal brand that clients instantly trust. In this video, you'll see why showing your real personality instead of hiding behind a generic business name is now your biggest competitive advantage in getting high-paying clients, real-world proof that it works, and I'll even share my exact 7-step process that I used to build a personal brand that helped me scale from $60,000 to $800,000 in yearly revenue. Now, I didn't always believe in the power of a personal brand. For years, I poured everything into building my design agency, The Deep End. I had the professional logo, shout out if you remember this guy, the slick website, I was a web designer after all those things that make a business look legit. I even referred to the company as we when it was just me working for my one-bedroom apartment. And back in those early days, people would find The Deep End through Google searches. They'd see my work, read about my services, and then request a consultation. But when I got on those calls, I was essentially just salesman number one to them. A complete stranger. They had no connection to me as a person. They were super cautious, and I don't even blame them. You know, they'd ask me a bunch of questions about what I've done before and if I really knew what I was talking about. And every time I talked to someone new, I had to prove myself all over again in that short 30-minute call. It was too much. And here's the thing, most people didn't want to pay me the big bucks because honestly, why would they? To them, I was just another designer in a sea of designers that they could hire. Then something unexpected happened when I started making YouTube videos. So they'd find me, they'd reach out for a consultation, but they weren't just cold leads anymore. By the time we got on a call, they were already 90% sold on working with me. The dynamic was completely flipped. You know, instead of like the folded arm treatment and the side eye, I'd get comments like, I feel like I've been learning from you for months, or I'm so excited to finally talk to you. There was almost no discussion about my prices. They already trusted me because they felt like they knew me from my videos. So the sale was pretty much in the bag before we even got on the call together. Same service, same skills, but a completely different reception because they knew me, not just him.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
What started off as a way to market my company had accidentally created something much more powerful, my personal brand. I didn't realize it then, but the face and the personality behind the business was becoming more valuable than the business itself. And this happy accident totally changed the game for me. How I run my business, how clients find me without me chasing them, and how I can charge way more money for what I do. So what exactly is a personal brand anyway? Well, it's when people know you, not just your business. So this is exactly why small businesses and one-person operations actually have a huge advantage over the bigger companies today. Those big corporations spend millions trying to seem personal and authentic. They hire chief storytelling officers and create elaborate campaigns just to seem more human. Meanwhile, you're already human, right? You just need to let that shine through. So let's break down the 7 easy steps to building a personal brand that puts you in the top 1% of your industry. Step 1 is just to figure out what makes you different, right? It's not about just the services that you offer though. Everyone in your field probably offers something similar in terms of services and features. You need to find your angle. Just ask yourself, what's your unique background or journey? You know, what skills do you have that others don't? What do people always compliment you on, and what values drive your work? Take David Jackson, for example. He could have been just another SEO consultant competing on price with all the other SEO specialists out there. Instead, he started talking about SEO on YouTube in a way that anyone could understand. See, David's really good at coming up with these analogies that really simplify complicated concepts, and he uses those whenever he can in his videos. Now he's bringing in over $100,000 per month because he just happens to have a unique skill that helps him relate more to his viewers. And I went through this myself when I shifted from being just a designer to a web strategist, right? I realized that my unique value wasn't just in making pretty websites. It was creating that strategy that actually got these businesses clients. That became my angle that set me apart from other designers out there. Step 2 is to tell your story. So stories connect with people on a much deeper level than just telling people how to do something or what they should be doing. Your personal brand needs a clear story that explains why you do what you do, what challenges you've overcome, and how you help other people. Chris Stowe from the future is great at this. He openly shares how he went from being a shy designer to running a multi-million-dollar agency. And by telling personal stories like that, he connects with other web pros who might be in the same boat. All right, step 3 is to choose your main platform. And by platform, I mean, where will you make your content? Is it a podcast? Is it YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, you name it? So you don't need to be everywhere. It's definitely better to dominate one platform than be average on a bunch of them. And the way you pick it should be based on, right, where your ideal clients are hanging out and what content format that you're comfortable with, and also what skills you have. For me, YouTube was the perfect fit. So my clients were looking there for help with their websites anyway. Then I could show my personality and methods through video, and I can show the things I was talking about visually. Kristen Kaplan offers outsourced COO services for small businesses, and I actually found her through her podcast. She had one of her own, that's where I found her, I think, at first, but she also would make the rounds as a podcast guest on a ton of business-related shows. And just by me listening to her and getting a feel for how she works with her clients made me interested enough to want to work with her, and I did end up hiring her. So once you've got your platform figured out, step 4 is to create the content that powers your personal brand. So this could be videos, blog posts, podcast episodes, or social media posts. The key here is just to consistently be putting out useful stuff that solves real problems for your audience. So teach what you know, share real examples, give away your best advice for free. That positions you as the expert automatically without having to try too hard. Step 5 is to be consistent with your brand elements. So your personal brand needs visual and verbal consistency to be memorable. So this includes, your look, how you dress. Like, I don't know if you noticed, I wear the same black t-shirt for every video. Your environment, my background here, your voice, how you communicate, your values, and all your key messages. Just take a look at Kat, AKA Miss Excel. She teaches Excel spreadsheet tips on TikTok, and her videos all have a pretty specific look between the shade of green in her text, her plain white wall background, and her frequent use of these character glasses. When you're consistent like that, people are instantly gonna, spot that it's your content. That builds familiarity and trust over time. Step 6 is to just engage with your audience. A personal brand isn't just talking at your viewers, right? You want it to at least feel like it's more of a two-way communication. So make sure you reply to people's comments and messages. Ask them stuff to keep the conversation going, and just show them that you're thankful for them to be watching. And when you're just starting out and you don't have tons of comments yet, really try to answer everyone if you can, because trust me on this, once your channel blows up, you won't be able to keep up with all of them anymore. Step 7 is to finally turn your personal brand into real business growth. So in other words, you want to make sure you have really clear ways for people to learn more about your services, contact you for work, or just take the next step. Liam Evans is a perfect example of this. He's got a YouTube channel, yes, but he also charges businesses to make their sales process faster and easier. So he includes a link to work with him in the very beginning of every video description. So if he were to bury that or made it hard to find, or even didn't include it at all for the fear of being too salesy, he'd be seriously missing out on a lot of the upside he gets from being a personal brand. So don't be shy about inviting clients to work with you. A lot of people following your content want to take the next step, so make it easy for them to pay you. And one of the fastest ways to grow your personal brand is through YouTube. And with their new algorithm changes, it's never been easier to crack your way into it than it is right now. So click right here, and I'm gonna show you what's changed and how easy it can be to tap into YouTube and build a strong online personal brand and start attracting consistent clients every day. So click right here, and I'll see you over there.